When you are running a business and you think, how should I actually implement I think I should do something because anyone's doing something. The question is, how do I power my business with AI without actually losing control, trust, or my mind? And we have an expert on the matter here today. Hello and welcome, Mo Russo.
Hello, hello. Thanks for inviting me to join you today.
Thank you very much for taking the time, and we get straight into it. So you wrote the book about how to exactly do what I just said, how to build an AI-powered business without losing control, trust, or your mind. So first, of course, I have to ask, what was your core motivation to write this book, especially as today many people say, I think we need to do something with AI, but how to know the right path? So what was your motivation? What is your background to get to the idea to that book, which is now in the second edition?
Absolutely, yes. And the second edition, if anyone has read the first edition, will notice that it actually takes a different tact in figuring out the best way to implement AI and integrate it within your operations. Most books that people come across with AI, it's all about, prompt engineering or which are the best tools to use, that sort of thing. And that's all well and good, but that's not what this book is about. This book is about how you govern AI to get the types of results you want out of your business. And to me, the underlying premise is AI is an additional teammate within your organization. And as a teammate, you need to have the same guardrails, the same performance metrics, the same functional accountabilities, and the same governance over that
Mm,
entity. So that's what's really important. And this came from my background. I'm I've started six businesses, sold five of them. Um, and I also am a business coach and I work with clients across the United States. And these are all from personal experiences, either
mm.
of myself or of my clients, and me helping them navigate these questions.
Yeah, excellent. And of course, and as soon as anyone gets in touch with me to be on that podcast, I always check their background if people actually know what they're talking about. And you are a senior professional in this area. When you now say we have a
Thank
new
you.
teammate here, some people
Yes.
say, yeah, we have a new teammate, but the problem is, I think this teammate is going to take my job away. So I'm not supporting it because someone will bring in AI just for one reason, to make me go away. What do you tell these people who think that AI is more of a threat than actually a help?
Well, if you bring AI into your organization to replace a highly capable, productive individual that's been in your business for some time, it's like replacing them with a toddler. So
Okay.
if you think about it from that standpoint, toddlers have good intentions, but they don't always have the right judgment.
Mm.
And so while AI may actually improve efficiency, speed of doing things in your business, it does not replace human judgment.
Hmm.
And that's what people need to understand. Um, I don't know about you, but I find myself arguing with AI all the time. No, that's not right.
Yeah,
Why aren't you listening to me?
yeah.
That sort of thing. And if you recall the movie A Few Good Men
Hmm.
with Tom Cruise and Jack
You want the
Nicholson,
truth? You can't handle the truth.
that's what I keep thinking AI is going to tell me because I keep berating it for giving me the wrong
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to give you one example, which I shared on LinkedIn just yesterday, there is an organization which, of course, I kept anonymous in the US. They implemented AI and it went well so far. In the recent month, they made decisions on how to structure their sales, how to put regions into place, how to assign the different account executives to the regions. After 3 months, someone by pure coincidence finds out the data was based on hallucinations. So
Yeah.
significant investments and decisions were made, suddenly didn't work out. People wondering, is it the market? No, it can't be the market because our competitors are performing. Why are we not performing? So how is it that, how can we make sure? Because some people say, when I have to double check everything AI does, I can actually do it by myself in the first place.
That's right. That's right. And I think it's a process of having here since I live in the southwest of the United States, we call it saddle time, like you're on a horse saddle. So you have to get enough saddle time with AI. so that you can discern when it's hallucinating. And it also gives it the ability to have worked with you for a while to understand a little further what it is that you want from it. So
Mm.
it's a bit of a two-way street. But what you need to do is definitely have those guardrails in place with respect to AI. And if you go through the book, there's types of meetings you should have, types of organizational structure you should have. If you're familiar with the works of Dan Sullivan from
Yes.
Strategic Coach,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he's introduced a concept to the business world called who, not how, right? So what that means is instead of how to figure out how to do something, you figure out who is best suited to do that thing.
Mm.
And in some cases, that can be AI. So that's how I think of it when you integrate AI as a team member in your organization. It's another who that can do the how things that are not as strategically important or aren't as motivating, exciting, tend to be more rote, routine kinds of things that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where we look for it, where it's best used, but you still need to have that human oversight.
Mm. Excellent. So, from your experience as a CEO, you work directly with leadership teams. What, in your
Yes.
opinion, is the single most common mistake organizations make when trying to scale the execution of AI, while at the same time they try to preserve not only organizational culture and trust, but also try to preserve sanity in the business and making the right decisions?
Yes. So to me, a lot of times is as AI enables faster processing of whatever the business flow is, um, people start to take it more for granted. So they keep speeding up, speeding up, speeding up, and they start to abdicate the accountability as a result of that. So it's really important that for every AI tool that you use, you have somebody who's accountable for that
Mm-hmm.
tool and its use. So you just can't, a lot of times AI kind of sneaks into the organization. I'm going to use ChatGPT, for example,
Yeah,
to draft a letter or to
classic
analyze
one. Yeah.
this, right? And so forth. And then they start doing, oh, that was easy. Let's try it and do this. So it starts to snowball in the organization. And there's no real rules of engagement when it comes to most organizations when they start using AI because it surreptitiously slipped underneath the door and into the organization. So, so there's a couple of things to be on the lookout for.
Mm, absolutely. So one question I frequently receive is when people say, okay,
Yes.
let's say you have a person leading a department and they introduce AI and they use it. Things go well. After a couple of months, a significant mistake happens. And the leader of the department says, well, it was AI who told me to do that. Who holds the accountability? Can the leader say it was AI's fault or is it always the leader's fault? What is your take on that?
It's like a manager blaming a subordinate. And what
Mm-hmm.
that tells me is the manager had no oversight. And yeah, it's not AI's fault.
Mm, okay, so definitely, no matter how great the AI tool is, people always have to have the accountability personally. There is no way to say it's AI's fault. The leaders have to step up and say, when something goes wrong, it's still my fault.
It's exactly as if you had a human employee who's working
Hmm.
for you and they're following instructions to the best of their abilities.
Mm,
And AI, unless you direct it to, is not going to ask you for clarification.
yeah.
It's going to do it to the best of its ability.
Mm,
And so it's up to the leader then to make sure that the AI is performing properly.
mm.
So
Excellent.
that's where the accountability stops.
Yeah, very good. How do you deal with leaders who say, look, I am from a different generation. I am not that tech savvy as other people who now just enter the job market. AI is something which is very strange to me. So probably I will always have certain trust issues. I'd rather not use it and probably put in a bit more manual work. Is it okay that people say I sideline AI in today's world?
I think it just kind of depends on the industry as well, the market position, and so forth. I think sidelining is like burying your head in the sand because it's not going to go away. I
Mm-hmm.
just think you need to figure out what the best role for it is. And it's It's funny that you should mention this scenario because I did write a book about it. It's called Let AI Do It. It was actually my first book about AI, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
parable about a stodgy old businessman who's resisting bringing AI into his workplace.
Mm-hmm.
And then his young niece, he hires his young niece to come in and help out, and then she starts bringing it in. He starts to see the value of it and so forth.
Yeah.
So anyway, interesting question. So I thought I'd plug a book. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Very good. Very good. So when now someone says, okay, I'd like to introduce AI to my business. However, how can I as a leader build trust and decision discipline simultaneously, while at the same time maybe I work for a startup where people say, hey, it's all about scaling. And basically, as we are a startup and or maybe even a scale up with investors who simply expect results, and usually speed is a bit more prioritized over
Yeah,
the exact result. How does that go together? When I say speed is important, speed and then at the same time being very precise usually doesn't go well together.
correct, correct. Yeah. So to me, it's like how do you balance it now if you have a junior member of your team that you're relying on to do some of that work, right? So what safeguards would you put in place to make sure that junior member of the team, one, understands the assignment? So you need to really drive clarity, just like in any kind of business situation with any type of resource that you're using, you have to be to have that clarity in order for them to fully understand the assignment to fully be able to deliver on what it is you want for an outcome and to fully embrace providing the level of information needed to make those strategic decisions. But you would not rely on your junior employee to make that strategic decision. You would rely on that junior employee, or AI in this case, to provide you with information and context to allow you to make the best informed decision that you can.
Mm. Excellent. What would you say distinguishes organizations that successfully integrate AI over or compared to the organizations who suddenly become overly dependent or relying on AI systems?
To me, again, it's the analogy I always fall back on is you're bringing in a new employee, a new junior employee, and how you onboard that employee, how you frame assignments, all those sorts of things still applies whether it's a human or AI.
Mm, excellent. Very good. So when now people think, okay, I think this looks good. I think I'm going to buy this book. However, then some people might say, look, I'm maybe not the CEO of my own business. I am the business and I think we need it. However, I need to convince people who think we're doing well, we have a good market position, things went well so far, we're not an early adopter. So, what are the top three things you would tell people? How do you convince people who are decision makers in organizations who are probably saying, yeah, AI, we just wait for a bit? How can they get started? Your top three tips for that as the second last question of this interview.
Yeah, sure. So I actually have a client that we went through this process together. And at the end of the day, it's finding a pilot for an AI application that they felt comfortable with, and we could easily monitor its progress, easily measure, its performance. So the best way to ease into it, from my perspective, is to look for those areas in the business where there's lots of repetition, lots of, repetitive tasks that are going on, and seeing how you can use AI to help you there, and then create a pilot around it where you have, check-in meetings, debriefings, reports, all those types of things you would normally have for any project you might implement within your business, and then evaluate it as it's going on. And then
Mm,
if it turns out to be a positive experience, then you can maybe create another pilot or start to expand it within your business. But to me, I had an old boss who used to always say slow is fast. And
mm-hmm,
in the case of AI, I think slow is fast, right? Just ease into it. And then once you start to see the benefits, once you get used to working with AI, provide the right oversight for AI. AI gets used to working with you because that's important as well.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's a good path forward.
Perfect. And I have one last question, of course. But now some people think, so first, of course, buy this book because it's a really good one. Second one, of
Thank
course,
you.
is when people now think, I think Mo might be really helpful for my organization. The main question is when they say, hey, we have a conference, we need a speaker, or we need a consultant, a mentor, someone who helps us with it. How can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I'm a member of the Activate Group. We're a small boutique business consulting firm here in the United States, headquartered in Miami. Since I don't handle pastel colors well, I live in Arizona. Uh,
Go on.
but
That's a good one. Yeah.
but we all travel well. So Activate Group, so www.activategroupinc.com, inc.com, or you can reach me directly. It's mrusso at activategroupinc.com. You can email me there as well. Phone numbers are on the website. Always happy to talk, do free discovery calls, see if there's a way that we might be able to help you um, that's amenable to both of us.
Brilliant. I think these are the perfect final words. AI in your business, and now you know how to implement it with trust and without losing your sanity or controlling your business. Maruso, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Niels. I really enjoyed being here.